So I think there's been a great update lately when it comes to ICP. Nothing I say is financial advice. However, did you know that recently Dfinity made a post saying how today the governance team is launching a brand new app designed to make participating in the NNS, which by the way stands for Network Nervous System. But again, they say that they're gonna make this brand new app designed to make participating in the NNS simpler, faster, and more intuitive. Now, what does this mean? It's apparently going to have a cleaner user interface, streamlined flows, and they say how it's built for everyone. So they basically have a reimagined ICP governance experience. At least that's the way to take a look at it. And how does this even matter, right? Or why does this even matter, I should say. I think that's a better way to put it. Well, I think it's because if we take a look at the NNS, right? If we take a look at, for instance, proposals there, people can kind of vote on it and stuff like that. Like, for instance, take a look at Mission 70. Not too long ago, people were voting on that, right? So if there are going to be new proposals and people can have an easier time basically voting on those proposals, why would that be a bad thing? I think that would actually be a great thing. And I think it's actually a great update at the end of the day, which is why I think that is the case. Right? So if they're gonna make, I guess, the voting experience when it comes to proposals just that much easier or much more simple, why not? That's the way to take a look at it. I think that right there would be a pretty amazing thing when it comes to just the longevity of something like ICP and also just kind of the perception that people have when it comes to Dfinity, because a lot of people like to tell me that, Dfinity doesn't care anymore, but again, I just highly disagree with that. I think this right here is a clear example that they clearly still care. Because let's think about this. Sure, was the user interface before perfect? No, but it's not like it's so bad, right? But if there was like a way for them to maybe improve it, why not? That's my point of view. And the thing is, it's not like so many people asked for it, in my opinion. So they're kind of already going above and beyond what a lot of people are asking for. Had they not done this, I don't see a lot of people who would complain. At least that's the way to take a look at it. But they did it anyways, right? In terms of improving the kind of experience, so why not? I think this, if anything, showcases the effort, the determination, and as well as just the foresight moving forward. Because again, if they could make things simple, or should I say more simple, right? I think it would inherently just make it easier for people to kind of interact with it. So why not? That's the way I take a look at it. And again, by the way, Mission 70, it wasn't like people had a hard time voting on that anyways, in my opinion. But if moving forward, if there are going to be future proposals and let's say people can vote on it in an easier way, I think it would be a net positive for ICP moving forward. Now, in case anyone is wondering, what is Mission 70? Mission 70 is basically this plan originally to kind of reduce ICP inflation by 70% by the end of 2026. And that recently passed, that proposal, right? The Mission 70 proposal. So I think that would be a really good thing, hopefully, for the future of ICP in terms of the tokenomics and also, of course, the inflation of it. I think arguably would become better as a result of Mission 70 now, I guess, passing, right? So I think that when it comes to Dfinity overall, I have zero complaints. And when I take a look at the internet computer, I have zero complaints as well. Like, there's really nothing for me to complain about. Now, of course, people are going to say, well, this didn't do much to the price of ICP. Yes, of course, it didn't really do much. Actually, in the past week, ICP has been down around 7%. ICP is still below $2.50. So people like to tell me, yeah, it didn't really do much. Well, again, ICP is an altcoin. And if we think about it logically, right, are altcoins doing good right now? No. So if altcoins are not doing good, ICP in a random hypothetical could even have a partnership with Justin Bieber, right? If they did that for whatever reason, like that wouldn't even really do much to ICP either, in my opinion. So why would them improving allegedly the user interface or the experience overall for the NNS, let alone that, how would that make a big difference? It wouldn't really, right? In terms of the charts. So I think sometimes people are assuming that, oh, if something is improved fundamentally, that means it has to reflect it on the price charts. But I don't really agree with that, especially at a time like right now when altcoins are not doing the best, right? So ICP, in my opinion, in order for it to really see any sort of significant movement, I think in the upwards direction, maybe there would need to be a change in sentiment. If there isn't, then it just simply wouldn't do that much, in my opinion, no matter what they're going to do fundamentally in terms of the updates. But that takes time. That takes waiting, right, for it to maybe do something. Or if the market were to pick up again, that requires waiting. I don't know the exact moment I'd have to wait, but one thing I can focus on is the fundamentals. So as long as I see the project still improving and the charts are still low, I have zero complaints in terms of dollar cost averaging because I have no need to exit anyways. I don't want to exit right now, and I just don't want to realize all of the downwards movements. So I am still dollar cost averaging once a month just to keep things a little bit more simple. I don't want to do any more than that. I don't want to do any less than that, but I am not telling anyone to do anything. But when I see the charts low, I mean, isn't that kind of the point for me though, right? I don't view it as a negative thing. I actually view it as a positive thing in terms of accumulation, personally, in my mind. It just makes sense, I think, personally for me. It's like, if let's say I wanted to buy a bicycle, if it's at a discount, like, why would that be a bad thing? Like, I'm not going to tell the store owner and be like, I cannot believe there's a discount. That means the product became worse. I wouldn't do that. Like, why? It just kind of makes no sense. But even besides that point, ICP, again, if it just goes back to $10, I have like no need for an altcoin season anymore at that point, just because ICP is so low. In a sense where we're around 4 times lower than $10, right? So if ICP could go back to around $10 from right now, I'm already a very happy individual. However, let's say in a random hypothetical, ICP held up at around, let's just say $7 or whatever, or $6 in a, again, make-believe scenario, and let's say it never went to below $3 like what we're seeing as of right now. Let's say that is the case in a random hypothetical. Like, okay, then it maybe if it goes back to $10, it's like very boring. It's like, who cares at that point, right? But if we're like below $2.50 basically, and things could maybe go back to $10, it's like, oh wow, time for me to go to Sizzler. That's kind of my mindset, because it's like things are so low, in my opinion, just in my perspective, comparatively to before. It's to the point that if it could just return back to an original point we've seen before, it's already like a very happy time for me, just because, again, things have dropped so low. So it's not like I have this, I guess, dislike when it comes to ICP. No, that's not the case. I still like it overall. I'm still a fan of it. Yeah, sure, it's having a pullback, but a bunch of altcoins are having a pullback, But this is the space, right? Altcoins, sometimes they can move in an opposite direction. Sometimes they can also move in the downwards direction. And sometimes it could happen quickly in both situations. There's no way for me to know the exact timing of it. But if I was like so averse, like if I didn't, let's say, want to deal with any of this at all, I could have just like believed in the S&P 500, or, I don't know, just dollar cost average into gold. I mean, I could have done stuff like that, right? Or platinum or silver or whatever. But I didn't do that because I knew by me going to this space, there might be movements like this, right? I knew that the ups and downs might be a little bit drastic, but that's kind of what I signed up for. So I can't really complain that something that I voluntarily decided to believe in is behaving in a way that I thought might have hypothetically happened anyways. In a sense where, did I want the charts to go down in terms of like purposely? Like, no, why would I want that? But in terms of dollar cost averaging, yeah, I don't mind. But sometimes we've seen how fast the recovery has been for some projects, historically speaking, within this space. So it's kind of like this roller coaster, right? That's kind of what I signed up for, in my opinion. I didn't have to do it, but I voluntarily decided to do that because we're around 4 times lower than $10 when it comes to ICP as of right now. Around 4 times. $10 is not even its all-time high. During the cycle, we've actually seen ICP almost double that. Take a look at, for instance, ICP was like around $18 not that long ago. So again, ICP just going back to $10 is not even its all-time high. Gold is not around 4 times lower than its all-time high, by the way, but I'm just saying. That's just kind of the mindset that I have sometimes, but I'm not telling anyone to do anything. This is just my personal perspective. However, I'll be sure to make more updates when it comes to ICP, so hopefully y'all stay tuned for that. I just want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a very nice day. It's Malik the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.